are back and black in the building, man. What is going on? Shout out to everybody out there. Man, shout out to James Youngblood, my brother. Dave from No Compromise, my brother. Go check out his live. We did a live last night. He probably about the only person that get me on them lives. Shout out to everybody out there, man. Tasha, Shawnee, Erica. Everybody out there, Mariah, you already know what it is. Hey, y'all know I'm gonna hit y'all with it. Did Jesus come back? Did he? Ah, damn. Niggas was in the choir. What was y'all singing? Jesus, you are my strength. and no, last night niggas was fucking, smoking, drinking, and all this other shit. Didn't want to go teach Sunday school. Y'all niggas know better than that. But anyway, shout out to everybody out there in the corporate station. I'm your boy, Warren G, in the place to be. Been clowning sucker free since 2003. Ain't no finessing me. You already know what it is. Let's get into it. FBA gods among men. Let's get it. Hey. Motherfuckers don't know, man. We got to get this shit together. You see what I'm saying? We got to understand, man. What you doing right now? Are you at work? No, I'm fucking with y'all. But you already know what it is, man. We gonna get into it, man. I got a good, quick topic to discuss. So let's get it. FBA gods among men. Shout out to Javante Tank Davis, an FBA god. See, sometimes we just have to show other racial groups, look, man, this is not what you want, man. Sometimes we have to have that racial pride in us and know we have the DNA, we have the melanin, we have what is called the law of rhythm. We naturally possess that. Go read the Kabbalion. We have those principles. Those principles came from black folk. So that doesn't surprise me. Shout out to Javante Davis. I'm so proud of that brother for showing that FBA pride and culture and letting motherfuckers know what it is. And I'm proud of everybody for supporting that brother. I wanted to watch the fight, man, but, you know, not having like DirecTV or none of that stuff, man, I like to pause and rewind and watch it over. And Showtime was on some bullshit, so I'll just watch another time. It wasn't that big of a deal. I didn't even really get a chance to watch a lot of stuff yesterday, man. And I'm glad I wasn't able to do that. And the reason why, because, man, I had a great live with our brother, David from No Compromise, and our good brother, James Youngblood. That was on there, man. That was my brother. And he said some very, very powerful words. I do agree with what he said. I do. I was thinking that shit, too. I just wanted to come from a different perspective. And not that, I want to come from that perspective of like, okay, so we do take on characteristics as savage beasts. That's our personal business. But I like what he said. He was like, hey, man, there wasn't no jobs around. We had shit going on. We depressed. We had to get that out. And he's not lying. He's not lying about that. What scared me was I was thinking that the whole time, like, shit, oh, well, god damn. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad that brother said it. And I'm proud of that brother for having that perspective, because that let me know, like, nigga, you ain't the only one that think like that. So I appreciate that. So shout out to my brother James Youngblood. Shout out to brother David, man. David said some real shit, how he went and talked to some people at these colleges and like, okay, what can you do? What are you going to be doing for my son and my children? Man, shout out to that brother, man. That was amazing. Because it gives you a different perspective on how you should parent. You know what I'm saying? A lot of parents just come like, oh, okay, let's get you to Yale. Well, how do we know what Yale's going to do for your son? Because if he's black and your son is not capitulating or being a conformist or going along to get along, then there's nothing that is going to come of him going to Yale if he doesn't have the, I would say, the black education of what is he getting into. So we had a great conversation last night. Just check it out. It was on his live. I don't want to do no mind. I just like being on his stuff, just to pay homage and show homage to him. A lot of people want you to be on their platforms. You know what I mean? And David is not like that. David's actually the opposite. My brother David is like, he don't care what platform he on. He's my OG, so I always call him my OG because that brother's got thousands of books, $1,000. He don't say no. That's the thing that I like about David. David is not finna just be babbling and speaking and babbling. No, David is gonna always give you, incite you a book. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about that brother. Very, very knowledgeable. So we had a great time yesterday. I think now we're going to talk about the FBA. Guys, we are gods. We have to understand that we are gods among men. We built this country for free without repayment. So we're gods among men. We have to understand that. What we did, what does Dr. Claude Anderson say and teach? We are special people. I was talking about that last night when I went to take one of my sisters from CMOS. We was having this conversation, and I was just telling her, I was like, yeah, man. Because, you know, we talk about the corporate plantation, and we were talking about the jab and how all of a sudden, you know, it was a big deal 2 years ago now. It doesn't exist. We had a great conversation last night, you know what I mean, about that stuff. And I'm glad that Gervonta Davis won. I'm glad that he did because he is just proving, along with our God, FBA God, Floyd Mayweather, that we can't be stopped. You know what I mean? And we have to be on the same page and understand what it is. It's just, we possess that natural DNA, which is called melanin, to do what we do. And I think it's very important to me that we start celebrating each other and being on the same page. You know, I was even talking to him, hey man, we gotta start getting life insurance policies and stuff like that. Let's start doing the right thing by educating ourselves on these policies and knowing what's going on. Let's just not assume that other people have it. This is the one thing I am gonna, I was talking about this last night. I'm gonna tell everybody, don't assume, if you got nieces, nephews, kids, whatever, don't assume the next person has a policy for your kid. You do it. It's your responsibility. Fuck what they doing. You do it. You know what I mean? Because that's what's most important. You making sure you get your ass up and get a policy. As I said last night, you got insurance on your phones, don't you? Yeah, well, get it on your life. See, people just like, well, it ain't me. I'm gonna be dead, so I don't care. No, it ain't just about that. The dominant society, they go get life insurance policies. They get, what is it, the full term. So it's a locked-in term. It's a locked-in rate for the remainder of your life. And then if they pay on it 15, 20 years, they borrow on that shit. They find new and inventive ways to make sure that they gonna have access to capital. But the first thing I think we have to start doing is have intrinsic value in us and start listening and understand what that listening is about. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't mind listening when it's time to go to church and pay tithes. We'll pay tithes, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. If you trust this pastor and this pastor does his due diligence and has a track record of doing his due diligence with monies that are being given to churches. But I'm talking about preachers that you never know, you'll never meet, but you don't mind paying tithes to. You'll do that, but you won't go get life insurance for your own self and for your own kids. It's time to wake up, man. Stop allowing other people to take accountability for your shit. Take accountability for your own stuff. And we have to understand that we are guys. See, what I like about Gervonta Davis or Tank Davis, he knows he's a god. He knows he's put in the work. And he knows that he can't be beat. He can only beat himself, like the Moors. The Moors beat themselves. You know what I mean? You have to understand that, man, about your psyche and about you. You are God. If you are able to go to a corporate plantation and maneuver within that plantation and be successful, handle business, and learn how to not prostitute your integrity, you are God. If you're an FBA God, because that is not very easily done. You know what I mean? Some people say you're a God having a human experience. I would just say you're a God. You're a God amongst men, because we are a special people. We are the original people. We built this country for free without repayment and have been sent to the slaughter. What do they do to pigs? They fatten them up to slaughter them. We had a great discussion yesterday about Freaknik. And the thing that we discussed about, I'm not going to get into it in detail, but that we discussed is they just want to portray black imagery in a savage mode. That's all that is. But as our brother David from No Compromise eloquently put it, no, Warren G, that savage behavior started from Europe, and that's exactly what I said. We also talked about how I think a lot of young black kids, fuck the NBA, go to Europe, play, get get your 200,000, 300,000, whatever they gonna pay you, come back and be all you can be for the black society. We had a lot of things. Look, man, this is not about agreeing with everybody. I even seen a thing with Dr. Umar. He was talking about Javante Davis. Like, man, I'm set up for you, but if you have a snow bunny, then I ain't fucking with you. And it's like, well, that is your opinion, and I respect your opinion, but you can't tell his brother who he can go fuck with and who he can't fuck with. You know what I mean? Like, we got to stop to me, I feel like there's too much stipulations on people's personal lives and what the fuck they got going on. Only reason why I say that is because Frederick Douglass, didn't he have a white wife? And didn't Umar Johnson say he's a great, great, great descendant of Frederick Douglass? He had a white wife, but that didn't take away what he was doing for black folk. He's still held in regards as a god amongst men. And what he has done for black folk in the antebellum period could not be erased. So it's like, I think we have to stop putting tags on people because, oh, well, man, no, what you want to do is behind closed doors. Look, my brother, I love you. I want you to be successful. But if you go dead outside your race, please be mindful of what you got going on. Because you can't tell nobody what to do. Especially when it comes to their personal lives. So it's like, I think black folk, I'm not saying other racial groups ain't like that, but black folk, sometimes we have a need to want to put a tag on somebody. Like, I fuck with you if. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. And I get it. Because we're very imagery prone, and I understand that. But we have to understand, man, people gonna do what the fuck they want to do. Motherfuckers I said this before, motherfuckers try to do that shit to me. I was like, I remember this lady, we used to call her Special K. I've been talking about her. I've been thinking about her. I wonder if she's talking about me in a good way. She was like my OG. We worked at this rec center called Silver Mesa. And we used to have a lot of discussions about just interracial dating and, we would always do this compare and contrast. I remember she was one of the first people to tell me, do people date outside of their race because it's easier, or do people just date who dates them? And Special K would always be like, you should have a mentality of dating who dates you, not dating another racial group because it's easier, or it's this, or it's that. Or you shouldn't do that. And I said, yeah, because that would kind of put you in a Sambo kind of category, right? Or sellout. She was like, yeah. She said, because what happens, Warren, is, I'll never forget it. She was like, what happens, Warren, is you start to adopt the characteristics of that other racial group because you're going out and seeking to date them. She was one of the first black ladies that kind of broke down just that and how it looks. And she was just like, I had people in my family like that, and I know people like that. She was like, and what used to weird them out is she was like, she would never cause judgment. She would just sit and watch. And they would always be like, why you don't say nothing? Karen, she was like, because, you just have to sit and watch and see what a person is going to do. Because that is not going to define who they define who they are at the end. She was using a lot of intellectual terms and shit. And I was so young, I didn't understand it. And then there would be other people that would come up there and join the conversations and we would have, it was good. Nobody would argue and fight. And I had friends and homies of me that would give me a hard time. Because I used to always say that. I used to be like, man, I'm a fuck with who fuck with me, man. But it's got to be authentic. I used to always say that. It's got to come from a good place. If it's not coming from a good place and you just date me because it's a bucket list, I'm going to peep that out real quick. And I remember Special K would be like, Warren, I feel like you're among a lot of these people up here that work here, you're the most intelligent. I think you understand what's going on. So with you understanding what's going on, remember, whatever you date, you know what I mean? You have to hold yourself to a certain standard. Whether it's a black sister or whatever. She was like, just because you date a black sister don't mean you could just take a day off. And I was like, what you mean by that, Special K? She was like, that doesn't mean, oh, I'm with a sister, so that's all that counts, and I ain't got to do shit. She was like, no, you still got to handle business. You still got to be independent and do what you need to do. Oh, man, she gamed me up. You can always get game from a sister. And my mom used to say that shit too. But my mom used to say it like this. Don't be dating these Asian bitches, all these other bitches, thinking that shit is sweet. Them bitches a dog your ass out too. Like, that's how my mom used to talk. You know what I mean? And you know, it just having those conversations. I remember she even said one time, she was like, I just think we should do that because you don't know what a person's gonna do. That could be that person's greatest ally, and that could also be that family's greatest ally. You don't know. She was like, you just don't know. If it's authentic, time will tell. And I was like, why you say that? She was like, because if it's authentic and it's coming from a good place, those type of relationships usually last. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, for real? She was like, yeah, because it's already hard enough if that person's black and that person's Asian or Latino or white. She was like, they're already gonna have cultural differences and racial differences. So, and you're gonna always have, what did she say? You're gonna always have people, God damn, I'm blanking. She was like, you're gonna always have people that have some shit to say. She said, but if it's an authentic relationship, it's gonna withstand the test of time. I used to love working with her because she always had great advice. Because motherfuckers, well, not everybody, but my motherfuckers used to try to give a nigga a hard time. And I used to be like, only reason why I'm saying that is because you don't know who's going to be your partner. You don't know what it is. But look, when I was in LA, I never gave a fuck who a nigga was dating because that wasn't my focus. My focus was on who I'm dating and what I'm doing. And I feel like if we focus on that, we will be a better people and we will stop the four-wall effect, as Nelly Fuller Jr. talks about. You know, coming together just to talk shit, do all that. No, man, let's have constructive dialogue. You know what I mean? And I think that's what it is. Hey, I don't want people to agree with me. I loved it when people didn't agree with me about that shit because that's their opinion. But I used to always say in the 90s, nigga, you can't tell no woman or no nigga who they gonna date and who they don't date. If a woman want to date a nigga with no job and no car, then that's on her. That ain't on you. Your job is to stay in your lane. And that's how I've always felt. No matter what was going on, I'm like, bro, why you worried about that? I used to always be like, well, what's the big deal? Oh, man, nah, man. That's time wasting. I'm not finna sit up here and do no thorough FBI investigation on who a nigga's dating. You know, and I'm talking about as far as when you go out, you see people, okay, is that authentic? Man, I don't give a fuck about none of that. Just leave me the fuck alone. Long as you recycling those black dollars and do what the fuck you need to do, I have nothing to say about people's personal business. And the reason why I'm saying that, here's the reason why I'm saying that, is because black folks will blindly go into a church and pay tithes, don't know the nigga, don't know him from nobody, you're not related to this motherfucker, and you will take relationship advice from this motherfucker and give him all your fucking money as he has not done shit for the neighborhood, and you don't know what the fuck he got going on behind closed doors. So if you ain't gonna pay attention to that, then I don't want to hear nobody paying attention to anybody else. And I strongly disagree, you know, with people that, to me, want to go out of their way to do an FBI investigation on some shit that don't even matter. That's why when I was looking at Umar Johnson, like, Umar, bro, who he date don't make you shit, nigga. What he eat don't make you shit. Like, none of that. So, man, long as he ain't out there cooning and samboing, that's what you should be worried about. You know what I'm saying? But all this other shit, man, we wasting time. Because ain't nobody going to listen to you on who the fuck they want to fuck with. Period. That's just what I'm saying. The only reason why I'm saying it is because I've seen it so many fucking times. And I used to always be the nigga to be like, why the fuck y'all worried about what that fuck that nigga doing, man? Y'all niggas is crazy. And I don't want people to agree. Look, I'm going to tell you like this. I strongly agree in, okay, of course. Look, you came from a black woman. Sister should be your preference, right? But hey, if the ancestors see you somebody else, like they did Frederick Douglass, then make sure it's authentic. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Whoever, don't matter whoever it is. Like I said, man, I remember I was kicking. Look, I remember 2003, like I said, I'm going to say this, I'm going to get him out of here. I remember I used to be kicking it, me and my homeboy Chris. We used to be kicking it with all kinds of different broads all the time. And this is way before I read. This is 20 years ago. This is before I read any type of book. As soon as the bitch says some ghetto or I'm all over you, what the fuck that mean? Woo, woo, woo. Because what happens is other racial groups get around black guys and then they feel like because a black dude is cool with them that they can start shitting on black people. I don't tolerate that shit at all. See, I'm known for saying some sucker shit to a motherfucker. I remember Asian bitch was talking some crazy shit and I was like, you need to go back to your math class. Where your graphic calculator at, bitch? And everybody was laughing and shit. And that bitch was like, oh, you racist? I was like, bitch, fuck you. I'm never gonna let you talk about my people. I don't give a fuck who you are. And that boy, she wasn't my bitch. Shit, but I didn't give a fuck. So women knew that. That's why any woman from any racial group that's ever been up under me, they haven't been up under me long once they know, like, oh, this motherfucker ain't playing. And that's a fact. Anybody that was around me, they knew that. They knew that. Like, that nigga gonna be playing with that racist shit at all. Like, I'm not one of those niggas that'll be with an Asian bitch and you come in my house and I got all types of Asian artifacts and I ain't got shit about my people. No, I ain't never been like that. But I've watched other people do that. And all I've done was take mental note. And it always reminded me of we just had to have value in ourselves. Even when I was younger and I never read. That's why I'm glad that Tank Davis won. Because we're a god amongst men. And they know that, and other racial groups know that. We are the progenitors of culture. That's why our music does the best. That's why everybody wants to have cornrows and dreads. And, you know, trust me, I've let my hair grow out. And I remember one time when I was working at a job, a different corn plantation, this white lady, she just was staring at me and she just said, I just have to tell you your hair is beautiful. And I was just looking at her and I was like, oh, this old white lady is being fucking funny. And she's like, I'm not being funny because you was giving me that look. You could tell she was around black folk. She's like, I'm not being funny because I see that look and I think your hair is gorgeous. And I've always thought black people's skin and hair was just gorgeous. I remember she said to the point where, you know, her own family disowned her. She was like, I took a lot, you know, I took a lot for that, but I stood on what I believe. And she was just like, yep. I had black children. She was like, yeah, it fucked me up. We talked for a minute. It fucked me up. She was like, yeah, no, people just assume I'm just some old white racist lady. And I was like, yeah, you probably are. And, you know, we laughed about it. And, you know, she was just saying, you know, the struggles that black folk go through and the racism and them building this country. I never really mentioned this story before, but yeah, she said this shit. Yup. You could tell whoever was with her had gamed her up. And she just was like, that's why I don't speak to my family this day. I haven't spoken to them in years. And Bob, she was going down the line and she was just like, and I don't want no award for it. And that's what, she was like, that's what people are supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? When they date somebody they love, you know, it's harder for, what did she say? The last thing I remember her saying, it's harder for black people than it would ever be for any other racial group because black people are scrutinized the most in the United States of America. That's what she said, and that's how we ended the conversation. So it's about you understanding who you are and knowing that you're God, and stop kowtowing to other racial groups. They should be kowtowing to us because we are the gods. We live in this country for free without repayment. And we have to be on what is called a code, as Dave from No Compromise says. Hey, you can disagree. I like that Dr. Umar Johnson said that, but I'm just saying, say that behind closed doors. Don't say it on social media. Send Tank a DM, say, my brother, I love you and I'm rooting for you, but don't do such and such. You don't do that like that because it's kind of like you reprimanding him before he even get a chance to live his life type shit. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. You say, well, Warren, why you saying that? Because, man, it's a time-wasting mechanism. To me, is that replacing the system of racism, white supremacy, and establishing the system of justice? Not to me. Not to me. I'm talking about going full-on FBI investigation. And, oh, nigga, you should be doing... Man, I don't got time for that shit. I don't give a fuck. That's what makes Dave Chappelle so dope. Because Dave Chappelle, he ain't married to no sister, but he love his sisters. He love his black culture. And in his stand-up, that's what he always does intellectually. Talk about racism, white supremacy. And he has an Asian sister, you know, as his wife, but you notice with his age that his wife, you don't ever see her. She's never around. She's not in the limelight popping her collars. You know what I mean? She plays her place. And she plays her role. And that's what it's supposed to be. So we can focus on Dave Chappelle's intellectual property and focus on his comedy. And I think he does that very well. And that's what I like about us. We don't be going behind and scrutinizing what they, because, man, it ain't about that, man. Do what you want to do. Just stay true to who you are. Know that you are black, you are an FBA god, and nobody can take that away from you. And that's a fact. Man, I went way over my time because I'm so proud of Tank Davis winning. And I think that We should take pride in this, man, and have a celebration about it, man. And I just want to talk about something good for once, because it's always something negative. So I want to talk about something good. Hey, love, live life. Enjoy your Sunday. If you're singing in the choir, teach at Sunday school. And, you know, just make sure you teach Sunday school. And then when you leave, I know you're going to go get your nigga and smoke some weed, drink and fuck. Stop acting like that's not what you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? Because what they say, only God can judge you. So that's it. I ain't tripping. You already know what it is. I love that discussion we had with David. We got to do more of that. And remember, you are an FBA God among men. Remember that. That's a fact. Don't ever forget that shit. We are special people. Guilty, nigga. I'm out. Peace.